So in this video, I will be showing you how to calculate percentages really fast. And one way is by keeping these four percentages in mind, as you see on the board: 1%, 10%, 25%, and 50%. These are the most important things you need to know. Once you know these, you can easily calculate any other percentages. And the reason is because these are very easy to find. For example, to find 50% of a number, half that number. For example, 50% of 200 is going to be 100 because half of 200 is 100. To find 25% of a number, half the number and half it again. For example, 25% of 200 is going to be 50 because half of 200 is 100 and half it again. Half of 100 is 50. So 25% of 200 is 50. As for 10%, to calculate 10% of a number, simply take away the last zero in that number. So 10% of 200 is going to be 20 because when you take away the last zero, it becomes 20. Now, if there is no zero, for example, in the number 200, 222, if there is no last zero, you simply put a point before the last digit. And the reason is because putting a point here in this position is the same thing as taking away the last zero. I'm going to explain that in the future video. Now, to find 1% of a number, all you need to do is to find 10% and find 10% again. For example, 10% of 200 is 20. Now, like I said, to find 10%, take away the last zero. 10% of 20 is 2, because when you take away the last zero, you have 2. Or if there is no zero, 10% of 22.2, remember what I said, take the points back. When you take the points back, you have 2.22. So 10% of 22.2 becomes 2.22. So 1% of 222 becomes 2.22. So now this basically means we're working with the number 200, right? So this means 50% of 200 is 100, 25% of 200 is 50, 10% of 200 is 20, and 1% of 200 is 2. Now, on this basis, you can calculate any percentages. For example, let's say we want to calculate 26% of 200. Now, 26 is the same thing as saying 25 plus 1. Do you get the point? If you don't get the point is this: 26% of 200 is 25% of 200 plus 1% of 200. So 25% of 200 is what? 50. 1% of 200 is 2. So 26% of 200 is going to be 50 plus 2, which is 52. You can check. Let's say we want to find 33% of 200. How do we do it? Now 33% is 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So you find 10%, which is 20. 10 plus 10 plus 10 is going to be 20 plus 20 plus 20, which is going to be 60. 1% plus 1% plus 1% is going to be 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6. 60 plus 6 is 66. So 33% of 200 is going to be 66. So by using this simple addition method, you will easily find percentage calculations. Now you can also find 59% of any number. Find 50%, then find 10% and take away 1% from that 10%. Then add your answers together. Or maybe find 50%, then find 5%, then find 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, and add them all. So this is one method you can calculate percentages very easily and quickly. In the next video, I'm going to show you another method which makes use of what we call commutativity. All right.